Okay guys, so you decided to go ahead and start with the process of getting your TLC license here in New York City. Now keep this in mind, it covers the 5 boroughs. Only in New York is this process even necessary. Most other places you can just go put your license up for E-Class, hop in your car and start driving. New York City, the 5 boroughs, totally different story. TLC is a big animal, and in order to qualify for that, there's a lot of things you got to do. First of all, you got to switch over your Class D license, which is normal license, to a Class E. This video will show you that process. Okay guys, day 2, what I've done was I've gone to the DMV and switched over my license from Class D to Class E. Now, it's so simple. I walked in, I had a bunch of paperwork with me. I didn't need anything. I just went through, paid my $35. The guy even gave me my ID back, so I have that. I've got a temporary Class E license, and let's see what else. I get the real thing in the mail in 2 weeks, so 35 bucks. That's it. Here in downtown Manhattan, so even though my appointment was canceled, but it still got me in and out really quick. Alright guys, until then, let's see what the next step is. Later. Okay guys, this is the following week. I'm taking the driver safety course here, provided free at the Uber office. It's an all-day thing, about 7 hours here on a lunch break. And so far I think, mostly it's just kind of telling you the difference between the TLC license and a regular license, going over points, and stuff like that. So I'll give you a good rundown at the end of the day. So moving on to your TLC application, once you start that, it's this. Gotta have that here in New York, that $264.72. Now, as I had mentioned previously, if you saw the other video, that Uber will give you a $250 voucher if you sign up that day. Felt like that was a little bit too pressured. I wasn't sure if I was going to go for it, but I have, and I've already started the process. Luckily enough, Uber did give me the $250 card that I can use once I get started. I guess it goes, once I do my first ride, it goes on to my first check. Thank you, Uber, for that. I just went back and talked to the so-called professionals and in the office here in Manhattan, and they were kind enough to do so. Thank you, Zach. Anyway, so going on to the TLC application. So once you get that, that's the first thing you got to do, because that number starts with a 57. You have to start anything else. First thing is obviously changing over your driver's license, but then getting your defense and driving course and medical exam. Uber offers this for free, and this is done on the first on a 6-7 hour class. So you get this handbook. I know this is backwards because I'm using the back of my phone, but nonetheless 6 points. So during the class, as I'll show you a little clip that I did just to kind of give you an idea of the people that are in there. The size of the classroom is right around 20 people. Anyway, the instructor was really nice, super cool. I'm going to leave his name out for the moment, but he just pretty much hit on the parts of the book and filled in parts of the book that were necessarily going to be on the exam. I feel like he left a lot of parts out that weren't going to be on the exam, so hey, why not? He gave us the rundown of what needed to happen, or what needed to be studied. And I believe the driver's course, the defense class, makes up about 20%, give or take, of your final exam for your TLC final exam. Okay, moving on from that, bring a snack with you if you go. You really can get up to use the restroom, but it's not encouraged. And one thing that was really predominant was that cell phones were turned off throughout the whole class. So if you have something you have to answer, you have to do, well, you're going to have to put it on pause. Okay, so now the next phase is getting fingerprinted after you complete that. And you have a drug screening, okay? Drug screenings here in New York, you can just walk in anytime. You don't need to make an appointment, but it does cost you $26, which I thought was pretty cheap compared to the $85 that it costs you to get your fingerprints, Okay, anyway, they're going to check your background and stuff like that, so if you have something, say something. That's really, I think, it. So then that brings me on to the wheelchair accessibility course. Now, here's the biggest thing with Uber and this wheelchair accessibility course. Uber says they have about 30 to 60, I can't remember exact numbers, 30 to 60,000 cars out on the road in the 5 boroughs here in New York. Now, that being said, they're probably 5% are wheelchair accessible. Now, this is going to have to change come 2020. So, in 4 years, they're going to have to switch over to 50% of their fleet. That being said, here's the driver's little manual that they give you. You kind of go over, and basically you do get some hands-on training for how to strap in a wheelchair. I think it's great that you can offer this service. There are incentives for you to be a wheelchair accessible driver. Now, obviously, this is going to you're going to have the right vehicle. And the ones that are stated are minivans, as you see, like the yellow cabs or the green cabs that are floating around with the big symbol on the front. Couple of incentives for doing so is that they'll pay you from where you're at to the mileage to going to pick up your pickup. So they pay you for that. They also have an incentive on less percentage, like 19% of your income is going to go towards, or commission, should I say, is going to go towards Uber instead of 25 to 30. That's a big incentive. And there's other incentives in there as well. So I'm going to check out the rates on the cars. And personally, you know what? To drive a minivan versus driving some small car, and I'm 6'3". I don't know if I'm even going to fit, or the guy behind me is going to be comfortable whatsoever in one of these small cars. So this sort of is making sense to me to look into getting that car. I'll add in some of the video here for the wheelchair accessibility class. Okay guys, I'm just going to sort of wrap this up now. I'm setting up my 24-hour course and exam for TLC. Uber in Manhattan recommends this LaGuardia Community College. Really emphasized on that, stating that they have like the highest success rate for passing. I checked in. Today is the 16th, and the next class is not available till the 27th, 28th, and 29th. And when I called up LaGuardia Community College, they pretty much wanted all the money up front. And that's the $175 for the classes, 3 days, 8 hours, and then the $75 for the test. So it's $250 right there that you're going to be coming up with. You could do the $175 and then pay the $75 later, but they're, quote unquote, the classes fill up fast. Should I say the classes, but the final exam fills up fast. So, into the process and everything going. So let's see, and I'll come give you guys an update. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and like. Thanks.